Come on. Come. Bring it in. This shoulder right here. This shoulder right here, by all means, bring it on in. You need a shoulder to cry on. I told you can use this one right here. The church is closed. It is Sunday, don't get me wrong, but the church is closed. It was a packed house, full service, but y'all are not allowed in the church or blow it up. It is what it is. I know why you're mad. You're looking at the camera. I know why you're mad. There might be bugs on the rest of you mugs, but there ain't no fleas on me. I know why you're mad. If there's one thing Sever the Bond has learned to count on over the course of this season, it's the Nets being garbage. I know why you're mad. But there will be no confessions from mine tonight. There will be no such iterations. You lost. You lost the bet. I won the bet. All right? But there is one good positive takeaway we can take from this, aside from the fact that they showed a video tribute for Blake Griffin, which made me so happy. Did you know he's on the latest episode of Z-Way, by the way? Hilarious stuff, but that's neither here nor there. It's the fact that the game was competitive, and that's what I was asking for, really. I knew we weren't going to win that game. That's why I ever so happily laid that bet with y'all at the end of last video. If you're not watching every video, then you are missing it. You're missing out on a lot of interconnectors. Each one of these videos is connected to the last one. So if you're skipping games, you're missing important things in these videos. And I'm just throwing out references that you're not going to get if you're not watching every one of these, but that's not here or there. But last video, we said towards the end that if the Brooklyn Nets were to beat the Celtics, I would get on camera and I would denounce my faith in the church to blow it up and admit that I was wrong and jump to premature conclusions. But we didn't discuss what happens if I'm right. What happens if everything was simply just a flash in the pan? Or if it was just another case of, oh my God, it's Russell Crowe. And what I mean by, oh my God, it's Russell Crowe, is a situation of if we're beating up on trash teams, it doesn't mean anything when we play the real teams. Now, you could sit there and try to wipe the booty pipe of the Celtics and sit there and say, oh, but they're the number one team in the league. No one's able to beat them. Yeah, we got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Now, I know that's only two of them, and we're used to having three, but 7-11 should honestly be enough. And honestly, this entire game was just a reminder of the playoffs, if you will. It was just another flashback to what happened in the playoffs. It's just not enough. When we have these switches where it's Seth Curry on Jason Tatum, it's just not enough. And even though Mr. Jason Tatum didn't have the best game as far as efficiency goes, again, don't be fooled by the box score. You got to use the eye test. He might not have had the best game efficiency-wise. He still had a good overall game as far as getting the job done. And what I mean by getting the job done is the things that help pass the eye test. Making the important plays down the stretch and when it matters. When it matters, when he had Kevin Durant on him, he went to work. And I gotta be honest, I was a little bit offended at the fact that people were daring to say things like Jason Tatum is better than Kevin Durant. And I'm not a Kevin Durant fan, but I felt some type of way about that because we're talking about Kevin Durant. But I gotta say, watching KD try to guard Jason Tatum tonight, I don't know. And we also have to give flowers where flowers are due, and we have to acknowledge people while they're able to hear it. Mr. Jaylen Brown, and I might be saying his name wrong, I always forget what it is, ironically, but homie that we were trying to trade KD for, other dude from Georgia who used to have the flat top and now has the cornrows or whatever, or the braids. Let me tell you something. That man is no joke. That man is equally as scary as Jason Tatum is. And they have two of them. Not only can they score at will, but they can both bring the ball up the court and run the team on their own. It's terrifying stuff. It's like there's two KDs. I don't know how you stop that. They got the length, they got the size, they got the hustle, they got the dog. You feel me? They got all the intangibles, everything that you need, and they both have the height, which is kind of scary because it's like where we have the 7-11 thing, no one's really afraid of Kyrie defensively. You got to be careful when Jaylen Brown is lurking. No flock of flame implies, but that's neither here nor there. I don't think anyone got that, but that's neither here nor there. Claxton had 13 rebounds, so that's cool. Shout out to Clax. I don't feel like they looked for him near enough. They should have looked for him a little bit more. I felt as if a certain individual went to Karis LeVert offensive land, and some of you are new and you don't know what that means. But back in the day, Karis LeVert used to go to some place called offensive land. And that's when he would just forget about everyone else on the team and just start shooting the ball and go in hero mode. Every now and again, Kyrie Irving slips into that, and this was one of those nights. Kyrie went to Karis LeVert offensive land, and he just didn't come back. He just didn't come back. The concept of team ball flew out the window, and it was literally the Celtics series from last year all over again. Just ISO ball, one and done, your turn, my turn, and it was a travesty. Now, Kevin Durant, again, maybe not the most offensive performance of all time, but I still felt like he played well. He had a bunch of weird turnovers, but that's what Kevin Durant does. And that's the side of KD that I don't feel like gets highlighted enough. The fact that he has these brain-dead turnovers. This happens every game. It's not like a one-time occurrence. It's not that the Celtics defense was so incredible we weren't able to hold our composure. KD does this all the time. It's just magnified when it's against the Celtics for some reason. But some weird turnovers on Kevin Durant's part. Same for Royce O'Neal. Not really the most efficient of nights. They shut down Joe Harris. I think the secret's out that Joey's back, even though I feel like we were the only team that knew that Joe Harris was going through a shooting slump, so I guess they were just following their defensive assignment, but able to keep Seth Curry out of the game by getting him in foul trouble, and Joe Harris was getting clamped up, not so much from the standpoint of he wasn't hitting his open threes, but he wasn't able to get to his spot. And I have to make the comparison that I feel like every time. Let me ask y'all this. What do you think happens more? Do you think Joe Harris gets blocked more than Claxton blocks shots? Where do you fall on that? I feel like Joe Harris gets blocked more than Claxton blocks shots. That's where I feel. I feel like Joey is good to get blocked about 3 times a game, whereas Claxton will give you 2 blocks, but I dare to say Joe Harris is getting blocked 3 times a game compared to Claxton's 2 blocks. That's where I sit on that, but that's neither here nor there. This is why I don't have full confidence in the team. I don't have full confidence in the team because I don't know what we're building towards. We're going toward, and God, I hate having to do this every video, but we really got to harp on it when we lose games. I don't know what we're specifically building towards here. If we're trying to just have a competitive team that does okay, we don't need stars for that. You know? We don't need stars that have a foot out the door for that. We're in a very similar situation last year that we are this year. Our 2 main stars are basically out the door. Kyrie Irving's a free agent, right? Not player option. He's a free agent. He can just leave. We saw how close he was to going to the Lakers last year. This is very possible that this is his last year in Brooklyn. Kevin Durant has made it clear that he's not really feeling it here in Brooklyn. He's enjoying playing the game of basketball. He likes his teammates, but he wants to win and win on quote-unquote the highest level. And the highest level doesn't mean make the playoffs and barely make it to the second round and get swept. So both of our main stars basically have a foot out the door. And unlike last year, where we had multiple puzzle pieces that we have to hang on to, we don't really have that. Is anyone looking at Royce O'Neal and saying, oh, we got to keep him, he's a building piece? Is anyone still looking at Joe Harris like a fundamental piece of the puzzle? Claxton seems to be the main puzzle piece of trade talks every time it's trade season. Are we super sold on Seth Curry in Brooklyn? Like, outside of Cam Thomas, are there any untouchables on the team? And I think Cam Thomas is an untouchable. That might be a hot take, but I'm looking towards the future. See, I'm trying to get back to this. That's what I'm trying to do. I've given up on this. And what I mean by that, for the new people here, we kind of have to go over this because new subscribers come in and you don't know what I'm referencing. I'm trying to get back to a time period where we just had a really good team where the future was the upside. Because the idea of us just collecting talent and hoping the chemistry gets good enough and they're all healthy to win a championship, that window's gone. For those of you who think that the addition of Ben Simmons would have made the difference tonight, what exactly was Ben Simmons going to do to get us over the hump? Jason Tatum was already having an off game. Was he not? And there are other individuals that need your attention that maybe others aren't able to get to. Like, say, for example, if Claxton's getting cooked by Al Horford because Al Horford takes jump shots and Claxton's roaming the paint, maybe that's when, you would want Ben Simmons guarding him, When that dude, something Williams, I think, whoever started at power forward for the Celtics, whose name I don't know, when he was literally just bullying people out of the way, driving to the paint, wouldn't you want Ben Simmons on him? When Time Lord eventually comes back, isn't that the type of coverage you want? We can't just multiply Ben Simmons and split him up to guard everyone on that team. When Marcus Smart comes back, like Ben can't guard everyone. And that's all Ben Simmons is going to contribute. Because when Kyrie Irving goes to Karis LeVert offensive land, it doesn't matter where Ben Simmons is roaming if he's not going to get the ball. If Kevin Durant is taking it personal and trying to get his foul calls and is getting clamped up, or maybe the double teams are a little bit too aggressive for him, it doesn't matter where Ben Simmons is positioning himself off ball if he's not going to get the ball. But even if he gets the ball, where this year has Ben Simmons demonstrated that he is a guaranteed third option for real? I don't mean a couple of random games where he might get 15 or 20. I'm talking about consistently this year. When has Ben Simmons proven to you that he is our legitimate third option? That's not what Ben's here for. Y'all have him confused with James Harden. It's not what Ben Simmons is here for. Ben Simmons is here to distribute the ball and play defense so Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving can focus on offense. That's why Ben Simmons is here. So even if, let's say, he's out there, we'll throw Watanabe out there as well. Right? We'll throw Sumner in there too. Let's say everyone's healthy. Do you think that changes a thing tonight? Do you really think that changes a thing? Because personally, I think it's just a closer L. Their defense is too strong. The Celtics defense is too established. They've been through too much, and they've cracked the Kevin Durant code. It's clear they've cracked the Kevin Durant code. And if you're able to stop KD, the whole flow is gone. What made the last couple of games so effective and so interesting to watch is anytime someone would try to double Kevin Durant, KD immediately makes the right read to get someone wide open. Not only were shots not falling, but Kevin Durant was having issues getting the ball to that next option when he was getting doubled because the clamps are so aggressive from the Celtics. You've shut down the whole possession. Kevin's either turning it over or just hoisting up some random crazy shot looking for a foul that never gets called. Same thing with Kyrie, but Kyrie takes it as a personal challenge and isn't even looking to pass. So if he doesn't go in God mode, he's hoisting up bricks. Or he's turning the ball over. And if Royce O'Neal is struggling and he's not going to hit his open shots, what's he out there for? I know it seems like I'm being negative. I'm just trying to be realistic, and I want to bring y'all to where it is that I'm living here. Being very, very realistic about the team. I think they're a good team. I think they'll make some noise. I think trash teams need to be concerned. Like the Hawks are in turmoil right now, even though they just beat the Nuggets. Trey and the coach are having issues and such, so maybe we'll catch them slipping. But those mid-tier teams, oh, you're in trouble when you come to Barclays or the Nets come to town. But the good teams, they're just not that high caliber team we're accustomed to anymore. Which is fine. It just begs the question, why? Like, what's the reason? Because we can be the same, gritty team that gets to either the 6th or 5th seed at the end of the year. But we don't have to do that with megastars and superstars. Not with a Kyrie Irving, who's basically playing his last season with us, and we're going to lose him for nothing. Giving me flashbacks to Spencer Dinwiddie. Not that Spencer Dinwiddie is on the level of Kyrie Irving, but you get what I mean. Losing someone of a high caliber for nothing. If Kevin Durant wants to play basketball at the highest level and compete for championships, and he's running out of time, no Abel Tesfaye. We could really be putting together some type of trade package to build for the future. See, if we go back to this era of Nets basketball, I don't mind having a mid-tier record. I don't mind being Matt Hardy. You feel me? I don't mind being Austin Theory and just grabbing the U.S. title every now and again. I don't mind being in the mid-card. That doesn't bother me. Because we're banking on the future. But when we have these type of aspirations with this type of a team, I don't get it. I don't get it. And this conversation, I say this a lot, is for the real Nets fans. It's not for Kyrie Irving fans. It's not for Kevin Durant fans. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Nets fans. The individuals who will be here when the stars leave. The individuals who will be here when fan favorites get sent off somewhere. To Nets fans, I just don't get the direction we're going in. It doesn't make sense to me. And nights like this prove it. Was it somewhat competitive? For a good bit of the game, yeah. And I'll take it. I just don't know where it leads. Because if we do all this and barely lose in the first round to someone, then Kyrie goes, Kevin gets traded away, Seth Curry's gone, Joe Harris gets traded away, Claxton is collateral for something. And we're looking at a whole new team next year. What was this season for? Does that make sense? Does that make sense where I'm coming from here? I'm thinking about the future because I know how this movie ends. But do you want to crash and burn at the end of the season? Or do you want to set the building blocks for a future I wouldn't mind? I don't know. I said I was going to do the I was right dance, but I decided not to. Let me know your thoughts on tonight's game. Again, at least it was competitive. It wasn't a blowout. The final score might say otherwise, but it was pretty competitive the whole game. Pretty enjoyable stuff. We just fell short. Just not good enough. You know, we don't match up well against the Celtics, but that's old news. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below. And I'll see you in the middle of this week for whoever it is we play next. I thought it was the Hawks, but I think it's someone else. Let's check real quick. Who do we play next? We play... loading the app. We play... the Hornets. Okay, that should be a dub. We should beat the Hornets. I'll see you Wednesday for that. We should beat the Hornets. I'm not worried about that. All right. See y'all Wednesday.